remember to look at the camera.
Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone. Our Facebook live stream took a moment, so that's why there was a little bit of a pause in the beginning. Welcome to the Delray Beach Chamber's weekly webinar. We're super excited today because we have Mr. Howie Silverstein. You might know him as Howard, but he says his good friends call him Howie. And the topic today is health insurance that will save time, stress, and money, presented by Howie, of course. So again, we're very excited to have you here. As always, please note that these webinars will be on our YouTube channel, they're on Facebook, and they'll also be on our chamber website underneath the webinars tab, just in case you come a little bit late or you need to leave early, or you just want to revisit the information at a later date. It's always there for you to access, and we'll make sure that we have Howie's info as well, just in case you need to reach out to him for anything. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him, the man of the show. Howie, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to do this. Today, we're going to discuss some of the initiatives that are involving ACA compliance and actually the ACA Marketplace for Obamacare website. There have been some newer initiatives over the last couple of years, and makes it easier to enroll on the ACA Marketplace. And some of those things, I have a website to actually a webinar to go through, not specifically to go over the ACA, but some of the newer initiatives and some of the newer laws that have been passed as a result of, I'd say, the improvement of people being able to access the ACA Marketplace or Obamacare website. I'm going to actually, let's see if I've got this right here. Okay. I'm going to show specifically something about the newer products, and the newer products are the ICHRA, and the ICHRA was a new law passed effective January 1 of 2020, and I, like a few others in the industry, decided to wait a little while and see how it played out. And that's why I started a little bit later than a lot of people did in January 1 of 2020, because I wanted to make sure that the technology to enroll and do the things that needed to be done for the consumer were in place, and I'm glad we did. Let me just go to the first page. Oh, you know what? And of course, I've got the wrong one up now, so just bear with me for just a second. Okay, I've got to get just a second here. Unfortunately, can you believe it? I've got the hopefully this will be the appropriate one. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Take your time, Howie. I'm just popping back in to say hi to everybody. I know it's so funny. As much as we've all been using Zoom lately, every now and then there's a technical difficulty.
Yeah, we seem to be having one problem with this.
I promise you guys, we practiced before, but sometimes it just happens.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time.
Can't get it. No. Maybe it'll work this time, I hope. Okay, so we've got it. Sorry about the interruption and technical problems, but we've got it together now.
To all of our viewer out there, Howie's got multiple screens, and I know sometimes when I do that, I also have a little bit of a difficulty getting it back up. So Howie, are you good to go ahead and share your screen?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Oh, is it shared now?
No, not yet.
Pardon?
It's not shared quite yet. The share screen button should be at the bottom of the screen in the middle of all of your options.
I know where it would be, but I don't know if this is that sharing it?
Not quite yet.
I see it down there. This is not good. Maybe there must be an incompatibility or something with this. No, it's not the product I'm trying to show either. Excuse me a second, I have to see if I can get.
I myself am forgetting to unmute myself. We're going to take just a minute until Howie can get situated on his end. I know he's got a partner there that can help him get all set up. So if you'll just bear with us, we'll tune back in as soon as he's there. All right, perfect. You are back, Howie. Can you actually unmute and show your video? We have, I muted you while you stepped away and shut the video off just for a moment, but I do now see your screen, which is awesome. So if you can just go ahead and on your side, unmute and also show your video.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, very good. Okay, sorry about the difficulty here, but what I'm presenting today and with People Keep, which you see on the screen here, is an administrative firm that helps administer HRAs, which are health reimbursement arrangements. But more specifically, something newly introduced, as I started talking about earlier, the ICHRA, which is the Individual Coverage Health Reimbursement Arrangement. One thing that I think will help revolutionize things for not only the small employer, but the small, medium, and even large employer. And I'm going to go through this through the screen in just one moment here. Okay. I'm just going to spend a minute and tell you a little bit about our background. Who is Silverstein HR? We're a full service insurance advisory offering a variety of individual health insurance products. We advise and enroll individuals and employees for health insurance offered through the AC marketplace, commonly referred to as Obamacare. And we make the ACA marketplace, again, Obamacare, easier to use and understand, empowering consumers to make better decisions. And the technology, which I'm just going to discuss for a second really is something newer in the marketplace. People can go to healthcare.gov, and it's a good system, but there are individual and proprietary systems out there. We use something called Health Sherpa, and that organization lets us do things that speed up the use of it. Don't have to switch the actual program to go back and forth between insurance companies and the healthcare.gov. It's a very smooth transaction, and in most cases, for an individual, we can get an application completed in somewhere between 8 to 10 minutes, as opposed to 30 minutes with healthcare.gov. It may take a few more minutes for obviously other family members in entering that information. The other thing that people are now able to do is they can actually go to the website, get quotes on their own, and if they want to, they can even enroll all in one easy step, which is quite unique for people that feel that they've seen everything they need to see. But I would advise them definitely to call us. And the reason being is we can tell them about some of the nuances and differences in the contracts, as there are many different companies that handle different things. Some of them have zero co-pays for different things, or you can have a high deductible plan but still have a low deductible on office visits. So that's why we try to tell people, call us, we'll be happy to help you and advise you to take you through the process. Okay. I just want to talk a little bit more about ICHRA and the like. So let me just go down to the next slide. I'm going to tell you a little bit about People Keep, and that's our partner that does health reimbursement arrangements. And their mission, they've been in this since 2008. Actually, they were part of a company that actually sort of, for all intents and purposes, invented the ICHRA, but it was declared by Obamacare when it first came out in 2013 that disallowed that product to be sold. But when people realized how good it was and the limitations of the Obamacare website, they brought it back, and originally in end of 2016, excuse me, and now in 2020, they made further refinements. And this just talks a little bit about what an HRA is. Many of you may have had that because you use an HRA with a health insurance program. It always had to be a group health insurance program, but now with the advent of the ICHRA, it allows you to have it with individual coverage. And that's one of the very nice features we're able to have. So, well, we tell people why here have an HRA. It allows employees to choose their ideal insurance plan. It works with any budget. It works for businesses of all sizes. And there's no minimum requirement for allowance or participation. When I say businesses of all sizes, some very large companies, let's say that even have 1,000+ employees, can still use the ICHRA, because some of those companies may have, let's say, a group of hourly employees, and those hourly employees can't afford necessarily the same dollar amount or can't afford the type of program that are geared to the majority of the rest of the people. Let's say that company has 100 people in hourly and 900 people that are salaried. Well, I guarantee you that there's a big difference between the salaries, and as such, they can design a specific plan through an ICHRA that those people can work with us on the ACA marketplace. They can buy individual health insurance and get the credit from the Obamacare website, or if that is not as much as what the employer is contributing, they have a choice that they can go either way. Let me go down here a little bit further. There are different types of HRAs, and this, as you can see on the left side, QSHERA, QSHERA, Qualified Small Employer HRA. That was the plan that was passed at the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. It's for groups, as you can see, for less than 50 employees that do not offer a group plan. So this, again, is an HRA, has always been offered with group insurance. Now it can be offered for people with individual programs. So their full-time employees are eligible. Employees with any type of health coverage may participate, but that's any type of individual health coverage that may participate. And there are certain allowance limits. We can go over that more specifically a little bit later. The ICHRA, which is the improvement of the QSERA, it best fit if you're currently offering health insurance and wants to consider cost savings or other alternatives. Again, this is for a business of all sizes, not just 1 through 50. It can be 1 employee, it could be 10,000 employees. The employer can set the eligibility to 11 different classes and combinations. And specifically, excuse me a sec. Oh, sorry, I meant to not put that on this screen. So let me just see if I can take this away and put it over here. They show many of the different initiatives that they include. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry. So many of the different, people that excuse me, I'm sorry. So the key here of the ICHRA or ICHRA is that the plan can cover reimbursement for the health insurance. So if the employer says we're going to pay X amount of dollars for health insurance, it could be for health insurance, the individual health insurance, and or it could be for some reimbursable medical expenses or dental expenses or other types of expenses like that. So, they can, if they want to reimburse the premiums as medical expenses, if they want to offer the same allowance to all employees, employers can do that. They can have a variety of different insurance situations. But most importantly, there are, as I said, many different things that can have the, let me see. So basically the differences in employee status classes are full-time, part-time status, salaried, hourly, in-state or out-of-state, or any combination of these. Very interestingly on this, if someone is, let's say in the state of Florida, and let's say the premiums are a little bit higher here, but somebody else is in Illinois, they have some employees there, and let's say the premiums happen to be on their state exchange or whatever, are 25 or 30% less, the employer can then set it and adjust the premiums accordingly to make it less, to pay less of a contribution in Illinois and pay more in Florida. Also, because this state, for example, in Florida, the premiums are based on age. So so if let's say we have a 24-year-old that's single or a 64-year-old that's single, the premium would be substantially different. And employers, if they desire, are allowed to design a program that would reimburse the 64-year-old or certain age classifications more money than they would allow the participation for a 24-year-old. So they're trying to help out. Let's say a person's been there a number of years, or if they're a brand new employee at 64, they can design a program that fits the needs of all their employees, as I said, based on age. Now, inversely, if you look at it like at the state of New York has community-based rating. And what community-based rating means is whether someone's 22 or 64, the rate is the same. So 22-year-old single or a 26-year-old married and a 60-year-old or 64-year-old married, they pay the exact same premiums for the exact same coverage. Anyways, but the whole thing on these two programs, the QSERA or the ICHRA, are individual programs. So they're buying individual, they're buying it off either the healthcare.gov, or we have a private exchange that we use with this company called Health Sherpa, which makes for an easier enrollment. In addition, for small businesses and even large, there is a fair amount of course, administration and compliance work. And so in order to enroll, in order to set this up appropriately, and that's what we use PeopleKeep for. They are, have the most experience in these types of programs, and they've been doing HRAs since 2008. And they help us in the decision process to figure out which would be the best way to set this up for each and every employer. We have a meeting with both them, myself, and the employer, trying to figure out which is the best way to set this up, based on the employer's needs and based on the employee's needs. But first we have to figure out, based on the employer's needs, what works best for them. And if they need to coordinate this with group health insurance programs, or if they want to do certain, again, these HRA programs like a ICRA or the QSERA, if you want to use them, you can use it any way you want. You can, in any different type of combination. But the key here is to figure out with the employer what's the best program to go. In many cases, when they go with a program, especially under 100 lives, they might go with just the full ICRA program. And the advantage here is let's say, for example, the employer says for single people, we're going to give $300, and for families, we're going to give $700. And going forward, once they figure that out, when the employees go to do their enrolling, myself or the people in my organization, they have a choice. They have a choice. They can either take that contribution from the employer, or they can see how much they're going to get as far as based on their salary and their income and the family income. If they're family rather than single, they're going to see how much that income would be offset by the amount of reimbursement from the Obamacare exchange to see how much allowance they'll get towards their premiums. Let me just move on a little bit. Oop, sorry. And as part of moving forward and to figure out these things and everything else, but this again talks a little bit about what we have to do here. So in other words, there is administration, there's setup of these things, there is a cost to the administration, but the nice part about it is when people get a choice to do what they want to do, maybe one person over here thinks, I go to the doctor all the time. What's most important to me is a low office copay. They're not worried about major hospitalization and things like that, but they are worried about they have to go to the doctor, sometimes 2 or 3 doctors every month. I think they have as low as copay as I could. Inversely, another person might say, well, you know what? I'm not worried about that. Matter of fact, I'd like to have an HSA plan, and I want to be able to put money away into the HSA tax deferred because I'm not going to use my health insurance at all. So they'd want that plan. And then somebody else who's married and has 3 young kids and know that they're in the doctor's office all the time, again, will want a low copay, office copay, and depending on the types of issues their family has, they could vary the amount of deductible or copay. So everybody has a choice. And that's the nicest part about these plans, is by picking individualized plans, that's personalized coverage for each and every employee and their families. As you can see here, it's totally paperless. They give you documentation. Documentations have to comply with the IRS, ERISA, ACA requirements. They provided a legal plan document for. Again, these are for employer-based programs. Employer-based, where the employer is providing the program, but the employees still sign up one at a time, each on their own. And it's, obviously it's all confidential. It's all HIPAA guarded. It's, everything is for the experience to be safe and confidential, of course. In this, we just use an example of something that for the employee experience, use an example, it would not say PeopleKeep is giving you a health benefit allowance. It would say whatever your employer's name is would be giving you this allowance. and it's easy. The People Keep has a separate contract that makes you fill out some of the information that you have to fill out there, and then you'd be connected with the Silverstein HR enrollment process. Looking at the next slide, our specific product looks slightly different than this because the plan document, the software has changed slightly, and but it's very easy to use. The shopping experience is extremely easy to use, and we've had nothing but compliments on it. They've been great for years, but this year they started with some new things. Actually, there's some new initiatives they have that we don't even have in the presentation. One of them being something called EDE, and EDE stands for Enhanced Direct Enrollment. And that's one of the processes where initially you used to have to go into the quoting system, then it redirects you to healthcare.gov, then it redirects you to the insurance company, and it directs you back to the initial software provider. So it was a little confusing, and it's hard to know where you were. Now we've done this thing; it can be all done in the Health Sherpa program. It's not skipping around between different programs. It makes it much easier, much quicker enrollment, and provide all the different insurance companies throughout the state that you'd like to be able to have quotes with. So it makes it very easy. And as I said, we'll work with every employee based on whatever their needs are to give them the guidance that they need, regardless of which company it is. That doesn't make a difference to us. What makes a difference to us is that we have pleased employees, that we give them enough information that they can make informed decisions. That's really the key to this whole scenario. And then here we have explains this. The employees can find eligible expenses by category. So whether you want to, if you have, let's say, enough money left over from your health insurance premiums and you want to be able to use money to pay for uninsured medical expenses or things, or whether it's just like Band-Aids or aspirin or a bunch of other things that you can go. There's a guide that'll show you many of the different things that you can pay for in addition to your health insurance, if you have additional monies left from the contribution from the employer. But then that is based on, I just have to make one caveat, the plan and everything that will show you as the employees will be based on what the employer's design is. So everybody's different. Believe me, everybody is different. But it usually works very well. Okay, here. The reimbursement process, how this works is employees buy their individual coverage, and what actually happens in this ICHRA, where you're getting your insurance through the exchange, through our exchange or the healthcare. It's really all one. It's all really healthcare.gov. It just, you get there through different means in different enrollment processes. But you as the individual employee have to pay for your coverage, and whether you get a reimbursement from the employer or you get a reimbursement as a credit from healthcare.gov, if you have some additional premium that you have to pay and it's not free, then you'll pay that, but then you'll take a copy of that bill that you paid and you need to send it to your employer each month, and each month your employer will reimburse you income tax free. You don't pay income tax on the amount of premiums that you're paying up to the amount of the limit that the employer said that they reimbursed you for. So employees, as I said, use People Keep software to request reimbursement. So it says employees submit proof of expenses for reimbursement. People Keep reviews the request and informs both employers and employees of the expense verification. And then further, employees receive the health reimbursement from the employers reimburse the employees for approved expenses up to their accrued allowance via payroll, check, or cash. In most cases, it's through payroll, but there's a slot usually on most payroll systems. It'll be a tax-free reimbursement. And here we show what the costs are for administration and these things. So there's a base fee of $29 a month, $15 a fee, $15 per month per employee per month. The one-time $150 fee we've got waived as part of doing business. I asked them for dealing with the Delray Chamber if we could give them an incentive, and so they basically were willing to waive the $150 setup fee, and that would do what I'm going to show you here today for ICHRA. But I want to discuss another product with you, and I'm going to see if I can bring that one over. If I can, just give me a second here, and just a sec. Okay. Oh, that's still the same one. Okay. And I need a minute here again. Seem to be having a little problem with this. Oh, I think I got it here. No, that's still not it. Sorry. This is oh, this is it. Okay, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Okay, this is a little bit of our information, who our company is, who we are, and the best way to contact us. I'm going to talk about a company called Sidecar Health. Sidecar Health is explained as a company that is exempted from the ACA. It does not meet and/or comply with the rules of ACA. And what that means is that some of the protocols that they'll work with as far as ACA, the most important one is it's guaranteed issue. There's no medical questions with ACA products. And Sidecar Health does have medical questions. It's the way it used to be. But there are very few medical questions. And if you qualify, the premiums can be 30 to 40%, even more at times, lower than ACA products. So in some cases, it's a benefit to go here. And as you can see on their website here, they say Sidecar Health insurance the way it should be. And they've done things and they've brought in initiatives that are so different than so many different types of contracts. This is like, it's mind-boggling. First of all, they have no doctor-defined networks. So as you can see on the next slide here, you can see any doctor you want. The price and comparison, they have a price and comparison, they have a price and coverage transparency tool, which is fantastic. When you apply for the coverage, it takes 14 days to become effective, but you also within 7 days get a debit card. And that debit card, anytime you'll go to a doctor's office, if you want to see a doctor in a specific area, you can go to their website, which is extremely helpful website. Look for the doctor's charge for a certain type of, let's say you're going there for just a general checkup. Let's say the average cost there is $150. And then you go to the doctor and you find out if you pay cash, which you'll actually use their debit card immediately when you're there, it'll save you sometimes 20 to 30% on the visit. And the most ingenious thing is if you get $150 of credit they're going to give you and your doctor charges only $120, they actually give you a credit for $30 back on your debit card that's on file. Inversely, if you use one for 165 and you get a $150 credit from Sidecar Health, they'll bill your debit card an additional $15. Let me just take this down here further. Okay, as they say, introducing Sidecar Health, a new approach to health insurance that leverages the power of paying at point of service. And on this page here, they talk about many different people that had different experiences, but in many cases, they're getting substantially different premiums. And what I'll suggest to most people is, before you go to our ACA Marketplace enrollment system or quote system, you'll also get a quote from Sidecar Health. You have to understand the differences, and I'll be able to, tell people and advise people about the differences in the product. But nonetheless, there may be some reasons that some people may choose Sidecar Health. And as you can see on this slide here, there are many reasons that people do. A woman that's retiring and before age 65 was paying a substantial lot more money than they were, or some people do it if they're getting divorced, or many different reasons. And in this situation, which we show here, and members who are engaged or benefiting, this is how they're benefiting. Like we show here, someone like with a knee ligament repair, Sidecar Health benefit was $2,621. Their total charge was only $2,043, and the member actually got back $578. So it's really very unique, the different benefits and the different initiatives. If you use good doctors, but use doctors of your choice, and if you have ones that happen to fall under the number, you get money back. Yes, if there's physicians are going to charge more, you'll pay more. You'll pay in addition to what the amount that Sidecar Health benefit provides. Okay, let me just go further here. And if you stay here, by paying at the point of service, healthcare costs less, 33% less than commercial rates. So it's really very unique. Everybody's really talking about it. I think they're even starting to advertise in this area. And again, it's a unique experience. It's a unique product. You can, when you design the program that you want, you can go on the website. You can pick a $10,000 annual coverage. You can pick $25,000. You can pick $2 million annual coverage. But you can also go to a custom plan, and you can pick something in between. You can get different deductibles. You can go with no deductible. So you can pick You can pick prescription drug coverage. You don't have to pick prescription drug coverage. There's so many choices that you have. You can really do anything. It has on here, there's a 3-year rate lock option that's not official in the state of Florida at this time. And interesting part about this is you could get one program and said, you know what, our needs have changed. I want to change this. Well, you'd have to go through a new enrollment process. You'd have to cancel this and get a new, do a new enrollment, answer the few medical questions that they have. But yes, you can change your coverage all the time. You can have the policy for 3 months and say you don't want it anymore. You can do that. So it's very, very flexible for you. Everything can be done. They obviously have a tremendous app that's directly on your iPhone or Android phone. As I said here, people can tailor their coverage to their needs. They can pick and choose whatever deductible, whatever copay they want within reason, and it makes it very easy. It's coverage your way, the way you want it, and how it works. As for the discounted price for paying up front through your doctor or a doctor, you can find it on the Sidecar's app, which they have. You can call on the phone and talk to somebody. You can talk to somebody on chat on their website. You can always compare prices between doctors. You can, if you decide, your doctor's not listed online, you can call them up on the phone and say, what would it cost if I want to come in for a procedure, but I will pay it in full at the time of the procedure, and they'll give you a price. And if you'll either decide if that's the best price, or you'll talk to somebody at Sidecar Health and see which is your best option. But you pay everything with your Sidecar Health debit card, which you receive within 7 days of applying. But you need each time to make sure the process works appropriately is when you have the bill, you need to take a picture of the bill, which needs to list your name, the doctor's name, the procedure, CPT code, which describes the procedure, the date, and the amount. And it's that simple. Take a picture, it downloads it, and or uploads it and sends it to Sidecar Health, and that's it. You're not going to get any bills, no balance bills, because there's no bills, there's no claim forms. And this is another slide that shows members can shop for their care and just want to find a doctor, and it says the doctor should cost around $150. If you find one that's less, you'll get money back. If you find one that's more, you'll pay money. But at least you've got more of a choice. Let me go to the next slide. Okay, and it says no surprises because coverage is transparent. All coverage is easily displayed through the Sidecar Health app. Members can search for the coverage by procedure name, drug code, or location. Episodes of care are also available. And again, it's very easy. Right now, it's approved in 11 states, and there are several states in the process that are supposed to be approved the rest of this year. But right now, it's approved in Florida. And by the way, if you have the coverage and then you move to New York, you can still keep it. Okay, so there's, as long as you decide to keep it, you can keep it. And lastly, you can see Sidecar Health leveraging the power of paying cash to provide lower healthcare premiums, full price transparency, and the ability to see any doctor, which makes this really great. So that's pretty much it. I'd like to open this up for questions, if I could. I'm sure there may be a few. And we'll be available for the next 15 minutes for questions.
Alrighty, Howie, I'm back. If you want to go ahead and show your video if you'd like, that way everybody can go ahead and see you.
Okay, second.
Yeah, no, take your time. But I do have a couple of questions, and I have been waiting patiently.
Second. Hang on a second.
Take your time.
Uh-oh, I gotta get rid of this. Just a second. Ooh. Okay, just a sec. Want me back here.
All right, I went ahead and got away from you.
What do I need to do? Screen share. If I would do screen share, that'll be on.
No, it's just gonna be your video, so that way they can see who they're talking to.
I'm trying to get here. There we are.
Go. You're back. You're
Okay.
back.
Okay, it's me.
Yeah, no problem. So the first question that I have here, how does Sidecar Health differ from most ACA approved products?
Well, as I said, it's considered an accepted EXCPTED product, and it's accepted because it doesn't comply with many of the things. It doesn't have a mandated zero deductible for an annual physical. It doesn't have mandated different things for different people at different ages, for the different things for kids and adults. It has guaranteed issue for health insurance. The ACA plan does. Sidecar Health does not. There are medical questions, which that's the big difference.
Okay.
But again, they make it up with their flexibility. They make it up with their pricing. It's not for everybody, but if they fit the mold, it can save a tremendous amount of money.
Right. So it's really kind of just sitting down and seeing what works best for you, because it's not a one size fits all for everything.
Exactly. I tell people, you know what, before they go to the ACA marketplace if they want, They can go right on our website, get a quote from Sidecar Health, look at that and see what the coverage is, and then go into our ACA marketplace and quote that. And it's relatively easy in both cases. And then they'll have a better way to make a better and more informed decision.
Perfect. Okay, so besides price, are all ACA marketplace Obamacare insurance policies the same?
No, specifically no. I mean, there are, the price, there's always a price difference based on different companies, things, but some companies might add little different things each year. Actually, we don't even have all the information yet this year from the different companies. Actually, this month, or because it starts November 1st, I would say by the 15th of the month of October, but basically in the next 2 weeks, I've got nothing but webinars reviewing all the different nuances from the companies. That's why I say when people get their quotes, and even though they can compare coverage, it's best you call me. That's what my job is. My job is to help people figure out, like I can't say which company at this point, but because it's not approved yet by the state of Florida, but hopefully very soon. Some of them have not only zero copay for your initial checkup, but they've added things because they have to give the basics that are included in the ACA, but they might have zero copay on lab tests. They might have zero copays on other things. They might have vision care that might be a zero copay. They might include one dental program visit a year. But these are some things that are doing it. And so when I have that in front of me and I have sort of the cheat sheet, I'll be able to talk to people and advise them so they don't have to spend hours upon hours of looking over at all these different things.
Right. So that's what you do. You kind of remain like up to date on everything, and that way you can just give them the information a little bit more readily.
I've been doing this a lot of years, and we've always tried to, as I said, our most important thing is, as a benefits professional, health insurance professional, we try to inform people in order to them to make their best decisions.
Perfect. Okay, so most of our members are small to medium-sized companies. What's the deciding factor between choosing an ICHRA versus a QSEHRA?
I know it's confusing.
It is. There's a lot of HRAs, and then it's a lot. Yeah. So go ahead and help us out on the difference.
Actually, let me just discuss I'll use the term for ICHRA, which stands for Individual Coverage Health Reimbursement Arrangement, and I'll just use the terminology ICHRA. And the QSEHRA, which is the Qualified Small Employer Health Reimbursement Arrangement, that's QSERA. So I'll use ICHRA and QSERA just to make this simple.
Okay.
First of all, the QSERA, only can go to less than 50 employees. So one big difference right away is the ICHRA can go to firms of any size. Okay. The amount of reimbursement, which I'm not going to get into specifically, but the amount of reimbursement that an employer can use might be enough for some states, might be enough for some areas, but the ICHRA doesn't have that limit the way I said ICHRA, the ICHRA, as opposed to QSERA, has a higher reimbursement, but the QSERA may be enough to fit the under 50. So there's I have a forum. We initially talked to employers. Right. I try to set up a meeting with PeopleKeep, myself, and we act as sort of a devil's advocate for each other because we're both asking intuitive questions to the employer to get a feel what the employer wants to spend, what the employer wants to do for their employees, what the employer wants to do for themselves. Do they have locations in 4 different states? Are they growing company? Are they diminishing in size? There's so many different questions. We really have to work on that. But so the real answer to that question is I don't have an answer to that question until I talk to each and every employer and find out what's really their, what they want, and then work on an answer to that question by getting the information from them. So
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of you mold it to what they're looking for and what their needs are. But the main difference, as you said, though, is that the QSEHRA, that one has a limit of 50, whereas the ICHRA does not. That's basically limitless.
Exactly, and they don't have a limitation on the amount of money that can be given towards the premiums and or the claims, uninsured claims reimbursement and things like that.
Perfect.
And then the other thing, I just one more thing,
Yeah.
because Sarah allows this, and I think I read this before, but let me just read this once again. Yeah, this is, hang on a second, this is one important part. The employees, the allowance for employee classes is full-time, part-time, salaried, hourly, in-state, out-of-state, or any combination of those. So the ICHRA gives a lot more flexibility to break out by class, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's a very important note to make.
I haven't got it quite memorized yet, but
you will, though. I'm sure you will.
I'll
So then I do have one last question for you. What is direct primary care, and does one access this coverage?
That's an interesting question. Direct primary care is designed and has been designed for many years for self-funded insurance programs for larger employers saying, well, you know what, if people go and they get encouraged to go to their doctors, their primary care doctors, health insurance industry felt that it said if they go and not wait till they have a big claim, you know, they'll diminish that. They might be able to take care of those claims initially with some medication or a minor procedure, but if they let it go too long, all of a sudden it's $100,000 claim, and for self-funded companies, that doesn't work. It's not good for them. You know, it's funny when you go back to the advent of the HMO in the late 70s, early 80s. You know, everybody had the zero copay primary care. They had the specialists for like $5. They had $1 and $3 copays on prescription drugs, and it was a whole different world. But then as we got away from that and started to go with more like the HSA programs that have $1,500, $3,000, $5,000 deductibles, well, people get those because they thought for the HSA they could put money aside. But then in the last 5 or 6 years, as those premiums have doubled in nature, most people don't have the money to put into the HSA programs. So what has happened? They have a $1,500 deductible, maybe a $3,000 deductible, and they want to go to the doctor and they say, oh my God, that's gonna cost me $150 out of my pocket. I'm barely making ends meet. Oh wait, I'm okay, it's just a pain, it'll go away. Well, this direct primary care now, which is sort of an initiative sort of reborn, not just for people that are self-funding, but actually for smaller employers. And we've discovered a program that is actually a membership program. It's very interesting, where if you have a virtual care need, and you can obviously get a telehealth program, and many places do have that, but the telehealth programs have zero copay or a $15 copay. Well, we came across one program that has a zero copay for virtual care. You still, when you have a claim or you want to go to the doctor, you have to call their triage. Mm-hmm. And in that case, you're talking to somebody and they say, well, Mr. Silverstein, you know, I can get you zero copay and I can get a doctor to call you within 20 minutes to an hour. Or if you really want to go see a doctor, I can get you in within 2 days. And that's only going to cost you a $10 copay. Wow. And so some people still want to go to the traditional doctor. They feel that there's an issue that they don't want to do over the phone. They're not comfortable with that yet. They can go and it's a $10 copay. And then if they want urgent care, where in many cases, it's going to be somewhere between $75 and $150 or more to go to that, it's only a $25 copay.
Wow.
Now, for firms we've done like that, there is a program, and the program is not even insurance. It's actually a membership program. Excuse me a second. And the membership program allows for this, and the premium is based on the size of the group and various different things. For a single person are somewhere between $40 and $60, I believe, a month to get that. For unlimited, you can go unlimited number of times. But for people that want to have, they have very high deductibles, and maybe it took an HSA plan where they don't, the copays for office visits don't start until after they've met the deductible. This might be a perfect alternative, and this is something they can add to their cost. You know, inversely, going back to sidecar health, you could actually take the sidecar health thing is so flexible that you can actually sort of make it like almost like a supplemental plan added to these plans too. So it's very unique, very unique.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a great alternative, or a great option.
There's so many things coming out now that it's unbelievable. It's hard to keep track, and we kind of keep track as virtually as much as we can. I mean, I literally had 3 companies out of Minnesota that have never done business in Minnesota before, and all of a sudden they've got all these new technology platforms and things that they're doing. But at least as things go right now, you know, I think we've really got the best platform. This Health Sherpa, which organization which we use to do the ACA, is very streamlined, very easy to use, and very, very quick, and you know, a lot less people pulling their hair out. And then the sidecar health is just wow, it's a phenomenal thing. I have a family member that purchased it, and they're like, said, wow, I can't get over how easy it was to do, how easy. They didn't know what it cost to go to the doctor for a flu shot, and they plugged it in, boom, 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 and told them where they can get the best deal in the area within 10 miles. It was great.
That's great.
This direct primary care, more and more people are starting to have an interest in. So it's interesting.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Howie, for all of the information you provided us today. I think the big takeaway is that it is not a one-size-fits-all. It's super important to talk to somebody who can break it down for you and can maybe recommend or help you figure out your way to what the best option is for you or for your business. So thank you again, everybody. As always, these are, as I mentioned earlier, on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, and on our Chamber Webinars tab. Howie, did you have anything, one last thing that you wanted to say?
No, I mean, if people have any questions, certainly they can go to my website at silversteinhr.com. That's SILVERSTEINHR.com. And under the benefits heading, we have a number of things you can sort of quote all your different types of insurance needs.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then the information as well is going to be posted in the links below in the post for Facebook and YouTube. So it's there just in case you didn't grab it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Howie. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.